GR IAS Academy.
"100 days, 100 themes, one goal, UPSC Prelims." Hello everyone, welcome back to Mission Surya. In this program, we deal with current affairs completely from prelims perspective. So let's get started. Okay. Judiciary is often criticized for delays in delivering justice. So, why this is happening? Because of judicial vacancies. So, that is why this is important for us, our exam. So, okay, judicial vacancies are there. So, who will fill this and what is the process for filling this? So, let's get into discussion. So, Supreme Court and High Courts are belonging to higher judiciary and subordinate courts come under lower judiciary. So, usually in case of higher judiciary, that is Supreme Courts and High Courts, Article 124 deal with Supreme Court judges and Article 217 deals with High Court judges. So, nowhere it has been mentioned how the judges appointment will be done. That is why judicial interpretation happened and collegium system has evolved because of, and 3 judges cases have been run on this system. So, and this evolution of collegium system has ended the 1998 Supreme Court opinion. So, what is the composition of collegium? In case of Supreme Court collegium, it consists of CGI and 4 senior most judges of the Supreme Court. In case of High Court, it consists of Chief Justice of High Court and 2 senior most judges of the High Court. So, what is the role of the collegium? So, it will initiate proposals for appointments, for promotions and for transfers of judges, and it will recommend these proposals to the union government. So, what will union government do now? It will use IB for verification and then sends objections if any. But in case collegium recommends these people, then it is bound to accept the collegium's decision. So, this proposal is sent to the president and president signs the appointment letters. So, that is the process of appointing Supreme Court judges. Okay, fine. Now, we have seen about higher judiciary. What about lower judiciary? Lower judiciary are the actual courts that people involve more. So, here they involve local and national judges as well. So, here what happens? Judges are appointed by governor in consultation with High Court. So, what about the collegium here? Article 234 deals with the recruitment of judges below the rank of district judge. So, here it is done by governor and it will take the consultation of state PSCs and the High Court. So, and High Court has the control over lower courts, including posting, promotion and leave, even transfers as well. In case of SPSC, they conduct services examinations such as UPSC or other state services exams for subordinate courts, hiring process, appointment process, and High Court supervises the selection process and it plays decisive role, while the governor he just signs the appointment letter and with the help of the recommendations of High Court. And we have discussed about Supreme Court, subordinate courts, and what about High Courts? So, let's see about High Courts. So, High Court judges follow 2-tier mechanism. So, here what happens? First, at the level of High Court, Collegium sends recommendation based on merit seniority, and then this will be sent to Supreme Court. Supreme Court sees these recommendations with the help of Collegium, Supreme Court Collegium. It will have CJI and 2 senior most judges of High Court. Okay, and it reviews and approves the recommendations given by High Court Collegium to ensure national consistency. And what happens now? Union Ministry, it again conducts IB check, then forwards it to the Prime Minister, who advises the President of India to sign the appointment letter. Now the President signs the appointment letter, completing the process which is given under Article 217 and 222, and this has come by the second and third judges cases. This structure, that is first the initial High Court recommendation and then Supreme Court Collegium recheck and then IB check. So this is all gives us the balanced judicial insights. That means two times it has been checked, right? First by Supreme Court High Court will give recommendation, Supreme Court will verify it, and then government executive will do IB check. So this will give independence for judiciary, and executive here does only IB check, which is a formal role, and then it will also advise the President of India and Prime Minister, who do signature over the appointment letters. So now let's see difference between Collegium for Supreme Court judges appointment and High Court judges appointment. So in case of Supreme Court, it has CJI plus 4 senior most judges. In case of High Court, it has CJI plus 2 judges, right? And then the starting also varies. In case of Supreme Court, it is started and decided by Supreme Court, but in High Court, it is initiated by High Court, verified by, checked by Supreme Court, and then it is checked by IB. Here Supreme Court to IB and then President. Here IB to Prime Minister and then President. So Prime Minister tells President to signature for High Court. So here the starting point varies, Supreme Court, High Court, and then what happens? So scrutiny is broader for Supreme Court appointments because it represents whole India and has so much of constitutional importance. Why? Because Supreme Court is the highest judiciary, right? And while High Court appointments have local assessment and national level oversight. So local level assessment is nothing but High Court will be giving recommendations, right? That is a local level, and that will be scrutinized by Supreme Court, that is national level. Okay. Okay. We have heard that people have been punished for contempt of court in many times in the news. So what is contempt of court? When you willfully disobey court, then it is considered as contempt of court. But there are other reasons as well. When you stop the administrative procedure of courts, that is also called as contempt of court. So in order to maintain the respect for our judiciary, we have some articles that protects the High Court and Supreme Courts and other courts function to protect the authority and dignity of courts. So it will ensure to uphold the rule of law and independence of judiciary. For protection from the contempt of court, there are few articles to protect. That is Article 129. According to this article, Supreme Court is called as a court of record, and according to Article 215 high courts or courts of record. So Article 142 subclause 2 enables Supreme Court to enforce its orders. So let's say if someone has disobeyed the Supreme Court decision. So Supreme Court in itself enforces its orders with the help of either police or some other people by using this 142 subclause 2 for the enforcement of court orders. So what is meant by court of record? So it's the power to punish for contempt. So High Court and Supreme Court have both called as court of record. That means both can punish people who willfully disobey the courts, and they cannot be questioned. Okay. What is the framework for contempt? So it is under Contempts of Courts Act 1971, which tells how many types are there, what is the defense mechanism and punishments for the contempt of court. So let's see types of contempt. The first one is civil contempt. So it is called as disobedience of court orders, judgments, decrees or any undertakings that have been given by the court. So here courts ensure to enforce the rights of private individuals, and here what matters for what is registered as civil contempt is they have to do it on purpose, right? It's not like by mistake or something. They have to willfully disobey Supreme Court orders. Then only it is considered as civil contempt. Okay, fine. What about criminal contempt? It states about that if someone lowers the authority of courts or interfere with judicial proceedings or obstruct the working of the courts, then it is considered as the criminal contempt. So there will be different punishments for civil contempt and criminal contempt. Okay. Now we are moving to Parliament procedure, election for Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. So why now about this? So office of the Deputy Speaker has remained vacant during entire 17th Lok Sabha and continues in the 18th Lok Sabha. So why Deputy Speaker post is important? So usually Speaker conducts the proceedings of Lok Sabha. So if Speaker is absent, who will do that? Deputy Speaker presides the Lok Sabha. So if Deputy Speaker office is vacant, who will replace Speaker in case of his absence? Then another person have to replace. So initially the first person to replace Speaker is Deputy Speaker. So having this position vacant is not good, right? So that is why we are going to study about Deputy Speaker election procedure. So what happens here? Constitution is not telling fixed timeline. It is just giving that election is mandatory, but it is not giving the time, and it is specifying as soon as. And then why it is important? To ensure functioning of Parliament. Okay. Constitution gives us some provisions to conduct for the Deputy Speaker elections. So according to Article 93, Lok Sabha will elect a Speaker and Deputy Speaker as soon as possible. That means mostly it will be done in the first session of the Parliament. And what about Article 94? It deals with vacation, resignation and removal of the Deputy Speaker. and deputy speaker in the absence of speaker acts as the speaker and presides the house. Article 178, it has similar provisions for state legislator. So what do we have to remember here for the exam? Deputy speaker has independent constitutional speaker and he is not subordinate to the speaker because he will have the same powers as speaker in his absence and presides the house with similar powers, with same powers. Okay. Now we have seen that the deputy speaker post is very important and constitutionally mandated as it specifies as soon as possible. So now let's see the procedure. So they are elected, he is elected among from the Lok Sabha members with the simple majority, okay, and it is governed by rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha. That means this procedure is not in the constitution, it is in the rules of procedure and conduct of business. And who fixes the election for the election date for the deputy speaker? Speaker fixes the date of election of deputy speaker. Okay. Usually opposition is given the post of deputy speaker, but it is not mandatory. So let's see few acts. There is no separate oath required because for already MP would have taken oath, so that oath will be sufficient. He don't need separate oath for deputy speaker position, so that would be sufficient. And he after election he is expected to function without any partiality. Okay, fine. Now he is elected with the procedure given in the rules of procedure. So what about how long he will serve? He will serve until the life of Lok Sabha, and if he wants he can resign. If he loses his position as a member of Lok Sabha, then the position gets vacant automatically, and if he does resignation, then also the position of deputy speaker will be vacant. And okay, fine. Now we know the tenure as well. What is the removal process? He will be removed either by Lok Sabha, and for this there is a requirement of absolute majority. So half of the total members plus 1. There is a requirement of giving 14 days notice period if they want to remove the deputy speaker, and it is filled through a election again. Okay, deputy speaker also has some powers and functions. So let's discuss those. He presides over Lok Sabha in the absence of speaker. That is the reason, that is the most important function of the deputy speaker. He will have same powers of speaker when he was presiding as the speaker of the house. He will maintain discipline and order of the house when he is presiding, and he heads parliamentary committees when he is appointed in the any committee. And whenever he is presiding, all references to speaker will be referencing to deputy speaker. So basically deputy speaker is called as speaker when he is presiding. He will act as the same person, so he will have the same powers, same functions while presiding the house. Okay. So from where we did get this? Historical background of the speaker, so deputy speaker. In the British era, Central Legislative Assembly has deputy president. So the first person who held this position was Sachidananda Sinha, and after independence, first deputy speaker was Ananthasayanam Iyengar, and later he acted as speaker after the G.V. Mavalankar demise. Okay, what is the importance of the office of the deputy speaker? he ensures the continuity of legislative functioning. How he is ensuring that whenever the speaker is absent because of any reason, he will be acting as speaker. So that is how he ensures the function of the house. And then he functions in the absence of speaker. What is the value? It is a mandated position under Article 93. It gives a balance in the institution of the Parliament. So what are the issues and concerns? There is no timeline given for the election of deputy speaker in the constitution. That is why we had vacant position in the entire 17th Lok Sabha, and this will weaken the conventions of Parliament, and there will be imbalance in the Parliament if there is no representation of opposition, because usually opposition is taking the position of deputy speaker according to the conventions. Our next topic is about removal procedure of speaker in Lok Sabha. So here we have seen that we needed 50 MPs notice, right, and 14 days notice. Here a notice with 100 MPs is required for the removal of speaker, and there should be a alleged reason for it, that his conduct is not good. This has brought for the framework procedure and constitutional requirement for the speaker's position removal. So what are the provisions given in the constitution for this purpose? Here Article 94, it says about the vacation, the resignation and removal of speaker and deputy speaker. So the Article 94 gives us the details how to deal with these things. And what about Article 94A subsections? So 94A deals with vacation. He deals with vacating of the office of Lok Sabha speaker if he ceases to be a Lok Sabha member. That means if he loses his seat in Lok Sabha, then he cannot be a speaker, and he can resign by writing to deputy speaker, or he can be removed by a resolution passed by majority of all the members of the house. So here finally we are getting that it is deals with the So finally here what we have to remember? We have to remember that Article 94 and its sub-clauses are dealing with resignation and the vacation and removal of speaker and deputy speaker. Okay? So for what it is applicable, this procedure? It is applicable only to the Lok Sabha speaker and deputy speaker, and it is not applicable to Rajya Sabha. And what is the framework for this? It is governed by rules from 200 to 203, which is mentioned in rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha. That means this procedure is based on the rules of procedure but not the constitution. So now let's discuss step by step procedure for the removal of speaker. So here we need 14 days notice, and then this will be signed by at least one member, and this notice is given to the Secretary General of Lok Sabha, and then the motion is listed if found in the order. To admit this motion, at least 50 members have to sign this notice. If the motion is less than 50, the motion will be rejected. So here 100 members have signed a notice recently, so that is why it is important for our exam. So what are the conditions for admitting the motion? So the motion should have the charges specific and precisely and it should be free from any arguments or any defamatory statements or imputations. There will be discussion only on the stated charges, and then the resolution must be passed with effective majority, that is requires majority of all the members of the house. That means total membership minus vacancies. So for effective majorities, the majority of total membership minus vacancies is considered, which is called as effective majority. If the motion is passed, then speaker will be removed immediately from his position. So when this motion is being conducted for his removal, so what will be the position of the speaker? He cannot preside during the removal proceedings of his position. So who will preside then? Right? In his place, deputy speaker or any member from the panel of chairperson. Who will preside in the absence of deputy speaker and then deputy speaker? If both are not present, then panel of chairpersons, some member will take the position as speaker. So some member from this panel of chairperson, he will preside during this removal proceedings, and then he can participate in the debate. He can vote in the first instance, but he cannot vote during tie. So he will not have casting vote during the removal of his position. So he does not vacate office or on dissolution of Lok Sabha. Just before the first sitting of the new Lok Sabha, he will vacate the office. This only during normal time, but if removal is done, he will be removed immediately from his office. So this is in the normal scenario. This is in the removal office. So if a motion is passed for his removal, he will be removed immediately. But in normal scenarios, he will continue till new Lok Sabha comes into the office. So what do we have to remember for our exam? Here majority of all the then members, whether they are present or absent, effective majority will be considered. That is, vacancies will be removed from the total membership of the house. And this is a legislative process. It is not judicial, right? Because this removal procedure is happening inside the Lok Sabha, and there are no grounds mentioned in the constitution for the removal of the speaker. So usually alleged partisan conduct will be the reason for the removal of post of the office of the speaker. So motions have been moved in our India on against G.V. Mavlankar in 1954, against Hukum Singh and Balram Jekar, but none have been successful. So no speaker has ever been removed from in his position in India in Lok Sabha. So let's see some PYQs here. Regarding the office of the Lok Sabha speaker, consider the statements. He or she holds the office during the pleasure of the president. The first option. He needs to be a member of the house at the time of his or election, but has to become a member of the house within 6 months from the date of his or her election. So no need to be a member. He just have to be elected within 6 months, and then if he or she wants to resign, the letter has to be addressed to the deputy speaker. Please comment your answers in the comment section. That's all for today. For detailed notes, please visit our website using the link given in the description box below. For more videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. For previous videos, please check the playlist. and follow us on Instagram and Telegram channels for your UPSC Prelims preparation and mains preparation. Thank you.